So I'm here to talk to you about yoga and mindfulness. I'm a Theraplay-informed counsellor and yoga and mindfulness therapist for children and young people. I don't want to talk too much to begin with. What I want to do is a little practice straight away. I came into the room and I was like, oh my God, I can't do what I was going to do because you're all like sardines. So I'll try and change that in my mind now as we go, but the first bit I can definitely do. So I'm going to invite, it's hard not being able to use both my hands. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and it is just an invitation. So if you don't feel comfortable, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to keep my eyes on this space, and there are others that will do that as well. So it is just an invitation. And then maybe just feeling both of your feet on the floor. And if you fancy chucking your shoes off, if it's easy enough, I'm going to. Just feel your feet on the floor. Maybe you can feel the balls of your feet and the heels of your feet. Then maybe you can feel the palms of your hands on your knees. So where the skin meets your trousers or your skin. And just going in. So when we close our eyes, we can take away a sense. So then we can tap into something more. And then I just want you to have a scan round. How do you feel right now? And then I'd like you to blink your eyes open. And then if you feel comfortable, to come to stand. Again, it's an invitation and you don't have to join me in this, but it is an invitation. Now, we're not going to be able to do exactly what I wanted to do. I will demonstrate what we were going to do, but if everyone can stand up, if you feel comfortable to. Now, I've got quite a big voice if I need to, so if you can't hear me at the back, just let me know. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, so is it working? Yeah? If I get really close to it, doesn't it? Thank you. Okay, so I will show you what I was going to do, which is something called the breath of joy. So remembering that feeling you just felt, I'm going to demonstrate the breath of joy to you. Maybe you can go home and just try that one in particular, because I think it's a real great one. So basically the breath of joy is 3 inhales through the nose and 1 long exhale through the mouth with a bit of sound. So if you can't see me at the back doing this, and you can put your hand up and I'll do it again at the end. So this is just the breath of joy. So 3 inhales and 1 long exhale as I bend forward. So it goes a little something like this. Just like that. And we do that for quite a while, just like that. But as we have not got enough room to fling our arms around and we're smacking each other, what we will do is we're just going to shake a little bit. So just start to shake the hands, shake the shoulders, shake the legs, maybe feel a bit wobbly, shake it out. And then just stand in the residue of the movement again, just inviting you to close your eyes. Maybe, and just maybe, it's not for everybody, this is just a maybe. Maybe you can feel tingling in your hands. Maybe you can feel your heart beating faster. Possibly you can touch your hand to your heart, maybe you can feel that beating. And then just scan again, how do you feel right now? Is it the same as how you felt when you were sat down? Or is it different and there's no judgment? All feelings are welcome. They're all part of our human experience. And then you can take a seat. Okay. Shall I have that other microphone? So I don't want to talk and profess that I know lots about neuroscience and neurobiology. But I love how the neuroscience and neurobiology really is showing great research of how yoga and mindfulness can help with our biochemistry. So just talking a little bit about how and why movement and yoga can help with our general wellness, and I mean overall wellness, so physical and mental wellness. So basically, if we think about, and I don't want to start naming parts of the brain because not everyone's going to know that. I haven't got time to explain that. But when we think a thought or a situation happens in front of us and we label, or there is a story towards that situation or that thought or feeling that arises, chemicals are dumped, hormones are dumped into the system. They have a 90-second circuitry route within the system. But put your hand up if you've ever felt angry for more than 90 seconds. Or sad, or happy, or any of the emotions, really. Well, they say that the reason why the 90-second cycle, it's basically the chemical is released into the body, and that, it's the circuitry route, and then it dissipates. I need to get that word right. Dissipates after 90 seconds. But like we said, we all know that we can feel those emotions for longer than 90 seconds. And that is because of the stories that we attach to those thoughts, and that we keep thinking those same thoughts over and over again. So we keep having that same chemical reaction in the body. So yoga and mindfulness helps us to embody and become aware. It's just about being aware. And yoga teaches us that we're not this mind and we're not this body, we're not those thoughts, that we're actually something much bigger, and we can be the observer of those thoughts and feelings. And then when we start to become aware, which takes a while, it's not just, I'm going to go to yoga and then I'll become aware of all my thoughts and feelings and then it'll all go away. But it's more about how can I observe that, and then what can I do with that? So when I'm thinking, how can so if we talk about certain thoughts and feelings, how can anyone tell me what somebody's body might look like and demonstrate that to me if they're feeling scared or anxious, kind of worried? Anyone? No? So, Yeah, crunch into a ball. So that's obviously the exaggeration of it, but that's exactly what I'm going to demonstrate. So the reason why we kind of do this, it's safety, okay? So if we're thinking of the fight or flight response, we're talking about neuroscience again, I'm in danger. Whether there is really a lion in the room, my amygdala, I said I wasn't going to go into the words, but the part in my brain is telling me I'm in danger, whether I am or not, it is. And then it tells my body to protect myself. So I'm going to start closing off. And obviously sometimes we just sit there without knowing what we're doing. We're not aware of our bodies in space. But yoga helps us to become aware of our body in space. So if, for example, you start to notice what your body's doing, then maybe you can check in with how you're feeling. Or if you know that you're feeling anxious or nervous or worried, you can tap into, okay, what's my body doing? So if we are thinking, all right, I'm really closed off, that is to protect my vital organs, because that'll keep me safe, yeah? So I'm going to curl up in a ball in case that lion gets me. So yoga can help us in thinking about the position we put our body in. It's a bit like how the science has shown when we smile for long periods of time, that can change our biochemistry. Whether we're happy or not, it can actually change our biochemistry just by smiling. So if I am in a position where I'm curled up in a ball, or I'm noticing that I'm curling in and shying away, I can start to think about, okay, am I really in danger? Noticing my body's telling me I am. My mind's telling my body that I am, but am I? Scanning. And then what can I do for my body to tell my mind that actually I'm not? So I'd like us, again, if you feel comfortable enough to stand up, we're just going to do a few more different poses and postures to talk about how we can send that message back to the brain, similar as the smiling or laughing. I'll just speak loudly. Okay, so if you bring your attention down into your feet again, and notice like we all go, oh, they're there, yeah, just in case we've gone somewhere else. Yeah, so just, and actually some of the children that we work with, and I don't want to go into the whys of this, but some of the children we work with don't know where their hands are at the end of their body, don't know where their feet are at the end of their body. Some of that's to do with attachments and different experiences that they've had. So even just coming to yoga to get proprioception of where my body's in space. How will that help me in the classroom? Actually, I might stop fumbling about with people and that kind of thing, and it looking like I'm trying to hurt somebody, when actually I didn't actually know my hand was at the end of my arm. So that's kind of going off on a tangent, but so many benefits to yoga that I can't begin to tell you in this amount of time. So we're just going to come into our feet for a minute, and then just draw up towards the ceiling in the head. So when we start to embody, so when we start to pay attention and focus and awareness into the body, that's where we are. Not kind of thinking what we're having for tea or those worries that we've got. If I start thinking about, can I feel my feet on the floor? Can I engage my legs so that my kneecaps rise slightly? Can I draw my tailbone slightly down towards the floor? Can I feel my belly button? Do I have to touch my belly button to know where it is? Can I draw that in slightly? Not so I can't breathe, but just so that I engage the muscles. And can I let the tailbone draw down towards the floor? And if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes, lift your shoulders up towards your ears, and then let your shoulders come down by the sides. Maybe roll them back, and roll them forwards. And just open across the chest. Notice, if I'm in this position, just open across the chest, drawing the shoulder blades slightly back. There's no lion. I'm not going to be doing this if there's a lion in the room. Okay? So then if you want, you can blink your eyes open, you can keep your eyes closed, and then without hitting anyone, try and stagger it out, just take a deep breath in and rise up. So then clasp the hands, and notice that your shoulders, if you started wearing them as earmuffs, or can you draw the shoulders down slightly as your arms are up in the air. So we'll take a deep breath in, and as we breathe out, just arch over slightly to the side. Press into the feet, and then breathe into the middle, and then come over to the side. Breathe into the middle, and just float the arms back down. So if I'm kind of doing this, again, my body is telling my brain I can't be in danger here, because I'm just saying, come and eat me. So sending that message back from the body, back to the brain. Also, things like taking the arms behind and clasping the hands together. Now, if you can't clasp your hands together, doesn't mean you can't do yoga, okay? Actually, doing that is more active and actually is a stronger position because it's harder. That's quite passive. It's easier. So if you can, however you can, take your arms behind you, and then press into your feet, and then lift. It doesn't matter if they come up to there or whatever it is, but we're opening up the chest. And then, when you take a breath in, see if you can feel the expanse, and then breathe out. Feel drawing back in. So as you breathe in, you're expanding. And breathing out, you're just drawing back in. Then just shake the arms out again. Also, and you can come back down to sit. Thank you. Hello, yeah. So, I wouldn't be always saying to people who felt anxious or nervous or worried, yeah, just get in these back bends, do some back bends and you'll feel great. That's not necessarily what we're saying, but it's a little technique that you can use if you're in a position where you actually know you're not in danger. And, you know, sometimes our flight or freeze response is really, really helpful and we do need to be in that, but noticing that we're in that and needing to be in that is a part of what yoga is as well. We're not saying to all children you should never feel anxious or worried or nervous, because actually there are times when those feelings are really, really useful. You know, for instance, when I came in here and went, oh, that's not going to be, that just wasn't happening in my mind, that was happening in my body too. There was a chemical response and reaction. But would it serve me a purpose to be going, oh, what am I going to do, what am I going to do? It wouldn't have served me a purpose. So, but if there was a lion in the room and my amygdala was firing off, that would be really helpful. If I was in a really dangerous household or situation, I need to be on high alert. But then that's where yoga can be so beautiful, when children are in a safe place, to be able to come into the parasympathetic nervous system, relaxing, vagus nerve active in the body, where they can just relax and go into rest and digest. The physical symptoms of having cortisol and noradrenaline rushing around your body all the time, they are toxic. They can be helpful, but they are toxic. And so if we are in that state all the time, we will have physical ailments because of those things. So the yogis know, they'll say, you know, our emotions are tight in the hips. That's because the cortisol rushes straight down into my legs, ready for me to run or fight or freeze. But actually, you know, do I need to have that feeling stuck there? Or, you know, our hearts are beating faster because that's where the cortisol goes. And just becoming aware of those things. What time are we on? We all need to cut off. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Oh, questions?
Hi. Does it always need to be with a trained practitioner with children, or are there some things that you can do in the classroom that you can work with the children without sort of being there?
Absolutely. And obviously that would be oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry. That would be like saying, oh, like if there's any yoga teachers in the room or anything, sorry about that. But no, any moving the body and being mindful about it and bringing in awareness and attention into the body is magical, is brilliant. Obviously, the philosophy behind yoga is about connection, and I think in our society we've lost connection quite a lot, and society is really good at making us individuals and feeling very lonely. That's another tangent, but yoga can help us feel a lot more connected to ourselves, different parts, and everyone else. So, but yeah, definitely things that you can do in the classroom.
Any other questions? I think I saw another. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wondered about your own personal journey, kind of in how you found yoga, basically.
I think the philosophy of yoga, lots of parts of it, has always been kind of just embodied in me. My mum's very a spiritual person, so I've been really lucky to have that side of it. But physical asana, only about 5 years ago, came to practice the physical asana of yoga. And I think the reason I hadn't searched for it before was because I needed a real yoga teacher that just wasn't teaching me stretching, because that's not what I feel yoga is about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hiya, you mentioned about children and fight or flight situations. My daughter's 5 and she's autistic and she's very sensory processing. I've tried to get her to sort of local children's yoga that isn't specific for any sort of disability, and we can't get her to it. If I practice some things with her at home, if I can find anything to do with her, is it a case of maybe just doing a little bit every day or every week so that it will support flight or flight? Because when she's in that situation, everything that we've kind of been told, if you like, you just can't do.
Yeah.
Or we're not at that stage to be able to put it into practice.
So again, I said I'm not going to go into this, but really quickly, Dan Siegel's brain model. So the amygdala, fight or flight response sits like this. Prefrontal cortex over the top, that's our logical, consequential thinking part of the brain. When the amygdala is firing off, fight or flight response, we flip our lid, basically. So the prefrontal cortex is not going to be engaged. And that's why you can't use any of those techniques that people are telling you. So definitely when she's not in her fight or flight, practicing will train that muscle to be able to bring her back. But also, what I would say, brilliant things, rhythmic movement and reflex yoga, which actually helps because we know that synapses in the brain, to break synapses, we need to do 30 repetitions. And then to build synapses, depending on how we do it, I think it can be 300 times you need to practice something to build a new one, unless you do it playfully, and it can be 7. So
Okay.
that's good news, yeah?
Yeah, so do play yoga and build it up that way.
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you so much for that question and for sharing. Any other questions? No, Lauren, are you going to talk about... Oh, no, clapping first, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry.